Sonic Land, Catherine Wright coming to you live from Zoom in Oregon. It's 4:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time equals 9. Tesla's favorite number, perpetual energy, never ending. Phenomenal. All right. I'm going to be on with Tony Rodriguez. We're going to talk about my book and a whole bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. And today's date is April 7th, 2022. 17, which is 8, infinity, infinite energy, perpetual energy, guys. I'm loving it.
I've been in and out of energy. Got it. Okay, we're recording. Hi.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk, you know. And anyways, but oh my God, what happened to you? And I'll tell you what happened to me.
Just, you know what? It's just lately it's been in and out of energy. Like one day I'll have tons of energy and get a lot done, and then the next day I'm just like sapped.
And I mean, but that day we both got sick. I mean, we were not to do that interview that day.
Mm-hmm.
And true. You know what I did? After I don't get migraines. I mean, it knocked me on my ass. I was reading her book, Aurora's book.
Oh.
And I'm only to the second story in. But you know what I did? Because you know a little bit about me, a little bit, right? I'm a physical medium empath, so I do a lot of stuff. About an hour and a half, we were supposed to meet like at 4:30, and about 5:30, I clued in. I said, "Is this an attack?" And so what I did is I took the story girl of the glowing being that puts gold dome, the gold dome. The beings that gold dome and the reptilians. Have you read her book at all yet?
No.
Oh, okay. So, well, in a quantum hypnosis session of this beings, they they go together and they make gold domes, and reptilian can't penetrate the gold domes. So I did that to myself because I'm a sorceress. I do imaginations creation. I do a lot of stuff, portal work. I mean, it's going to make a really good book, and I've got videos and photos, and I want to document this stuff happening. It's like cat's wild ride here. I gotta tell you some of the stuff at the haunted house. Shit.
I did read, so I read that chapter about that.
You can't, in 2,000 words, you cannot I'm writing a whole book on that other stuff. I mean, Tony.
Yeah, there's always a time when.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's always a time when you come to that point in your book where you're not going to include everything.
This was about empath, an empath. So I just took the skill set and an example of little empath things that a real baby. This is a real baby chapter. Baby. With the stories, how deep your stories are. Well. Shit. Oh my God. It blows my mind. And to have them really happen in your physical reality. And then in quantum reality and hypnosis, shit comes out that matches, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, is that what really happened? I'd be in that house. And my husband and I would just sit down on the bed to go to sleep, right? And he would just lay down. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, honey, there's no ceiling. There's no roof. It's just black with stars. And he's out. I mean, but he just sat down and laid down, but I couldn't wake him. And I have no roof. And I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do. So I just laid down and I was out, and I don't fall asleep that easy. And it's like, what are you going to do? And then I have no memory after that, Holy shit.
Interesting. How long did you live at that house?
14 years.
So quite a while.
And my mother, she was a Catholic nun, but she didn't take her vows because it was so freaking bad there, like lesbianism, cheating, lying, and she was really pure. She's like, oh my God, it's crazy here. I'm not going to be in the nunnery. She thought it was, supposed to be holy. And it was totally not holy, as we know. So, but she said when she was at the Catholic Church, she would see the, ships like lights outside the window. And I'm like, shoot. So I think this goes further than I know, that I've looked at, family wise. I don't know. It's just fascinating when you start putting the pieces together, and then being psychically blown open. 14 years on reptilian portals. Man, shit was happening to Pete all the time. And, I'm kind of like a little tenacious little shit. The first time I got attacked, I had been 3 months in the house and I had a housewarming party, right? And I wrapped it up early. I had a band and people and I was in bed by 10, and I got my dog in the bed and I'm closing my eyes and you know how you're kind of dozing off and my dog just gets up and walks out of the room in a trance. My dog leaves. And then I'm like, oh, that's odd. Well, maybe she has to go to the bathroom. And then you're half asleep and I kind of have my eyes a little cracked and like someone walking through the kitchen, I have night lights, when someone walks by, they go off and then on. And I kind of heard a crash, like a noise. So I wasn't sure if like someone was walking in, but you're kind of out of it. You're dozing off, my dog wouldn't bark. If someone was in the house, my dog would bark. That's what I would think. That's what I was thinking. And then I close my eyes and I'm kind of sleeping and something climbs in the bed with me and the whole bed goes down and the pillows, because I have all these pillows kind of like, pillows. And I'm thinking it's a real person. It's like a real person. And then something starts squeezing my bosom as hard, like just squeezing my boobs. And I'm like, holy shit, someone's in, so I sleep with a Glock under my pillow. I've grown up in some pretty rough neighborhoods. And so I sleep with a gun under my pillow and I'm pinned, right? I am pinned. But I could move my hands down here. So I slid my hand, got the Glock, and then my spirit guide, right, said, you're going to hurt yourself. And I know that, that's that voice that I trust,
Your intuition, right?
Yeah, that's my higher self. And says, you're going to hurt yourself. I said, okay. So I slid the gun back. And then I saw these wispy hands, like a second set of hands going to go pin, because obviously I could move my hands, go to pin my stomach. And I said, hell no. I grabbed those wispy hands, ripped them up, jumped up out of the bed. And this huge entity, because I'm in, I have the whole bedroom fireplace huge, and it opens up into this big dining area. And it goes into the room and it's as tall as the frickin' ceiling. And have you ever seen that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Predator? And when he had the cloaking device, it looks like water mirrored like that in little triangles and stuff. And that's what it did. It was huge. It was like a football player. It was like huge. And it was like that water, like a cloaking or whatever. It was just energy. And I pointed at it, no one fucks with me if I can see you if I can't, but I'd never had an attack like this. I didn't believe in any of this shit. And I said, how dare you come on my property? And in the name of Jesus, who stomped on Satan's head and took the keys to Hades and earth, get out of my house. And whoosh, it left. And then this beautiful peace comes over me. And I go back and sit on the bed and the voice says, so what'd you learn?
Wow.
So what'd you learn? And I said, damn, I should have called on the name of Jesus in the very first place.
The first place. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, Jesus and I are tight. We're tight. We're masters, right? He's a good Venetian dude, right? So he's a doll. But religion, the religion stuff sucks and all that stuff. But there's really neat energy and consciousness of certain consciousnesses. So he and I are tight. I wouldn't have gotten through that without, knowing that dude. So anyways, that was some crazy shit. And then I found out it was, that was my first experience at that house.
Where is that located?
Salem, Oregon, dude.
Oh, so
The
no red
capital
flags
is
there.
so fucking haunted. Salem, let me tell you,
Wow.
all the insane asylums and prisons had to be located. It was a law that they had to be in the capital. And they took that off the books in the 80s, around 82, 84. And now it could go over Oregon, but all criminality, all the darkest of darks was here at the Capitol. I didn't know that. I fucking was looking for a house. I swear to God, next time I buy a house, I'm checking out the neighborhood and the gyms. Oh my God. And the land. A lot of dirty.
I wonder, so we were in the, recently I had Dan Willis on, and I've been learning about the Vogel crystals. So I went looking at a shop in town where I live. I live in a small town. We went to a shop looking for crystals, right? And they didn't have anything, but they had the smudge, the sage, you know, the big thing.
Yes. Through the spirit guides, I channel Thoth and all these amazing ancient beings that we've all played. You know, I also was in a car accident and almost died. So that I was flung out of the body. You know how I've been, so much trauma cracks you fucking wide open psychically. And that's what that haunted house did, because my higher self says, hey, she needs to be on board for the changeover. She's a master. We got all the masters. You're a master. We're masters here. We're waking up. We got to wake up. We got to wake up. So I am so excited. Help me pump this book, you know, and you empath you, because it's not only me, there's 19 beautiful women and Andy who wrote the foreword. We really want to get empathic men to tell their stories, make it normalize. I want to normalize fucking psychic abilities in children. I'm going for our children. They robbed our children. We got to take this generation, my nieces and nephews and the kids, and we've got to get them on the energetic path.
That's an amazing message, because it's so true. Like,
well,
they tell you to
I'm
just turn away, and everybody has some sort of, you know, episode where it doesn't add up, but we're trained to just go whatever, and just keep going through life, and people brush it off because, you know, it comes and goes. It's you're attached. It's more fluidic, so it doesn't work in a way like a machine does, and so people are just in a constantly want to disregard it. But it's so many people have so many things that happen, and you're right. The kids need to learn it at a young age so that they can get it working for them.
They have to know their boundaries. They have to know how to say no, like you say. You know, we've got to have them understand it's okay to talk about if you see an invisible friend. Well, and in my e-tip, you know, that if you buy the book on April 28th, the electronic edition, because of course we're not getting our books like you didn't. I'm not getting them.
Right.
So I'm not getting them maybe till June. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was I want to say 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks before I got my author's copies of my book when I had mine out.
So I'm not even really advertising, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, I bought a bunch because I had like a pre-sale. So the minute we went live on Amazon with it, I bought a bunch of author's copies. They give you that option. And I was going to send those out on the pre-sale. And people had, through my website, had paid for the book for months before it came out. And then when they said they didn't send my copies, they said your copies will be here in like 3-4 weeks.
Your personal copies.
My personal ones. I bought like.
You didn't have them for your opening.
50 of them. Well, I'd already pre-sold. I'd already took the money and promised autographed copies for people. Yeah. And what happened was the people that were buying for just individually on Amazon got theirs that week, that Wednesday, and they were like, "Oh, I love your book. I already read it." By the next weekend, it was all over that. Man, I loved we read your book. It was amazing. And all these people that spent the big money in the first place,
yeah,
were like, "Where's my book, man?" And
I heard you. I heard that, and so that's why I'm not doing it that way. I'm waiting until it, levels out, and then I don't know. This is really interesting. In 2016, you were up at Mount Shasta.
I was. That was where I did my very first interview. Yep.
My friend's the camp host, and that was the first year he arrived, and he's been the camp host ever since. I showed up. Mount Shasta called my ass up there in 2017. I was right there at that lodge you were staying at where you did your interview at. And I got a picture with Chris, my friend, driving behind you while you're doing the interview.
Oh, that's neat.
I thought it was so cool. We can't make this stuff up.
It was beautiful because Mount Shasta was in the background, but in that first interview, camera didn't pick it up. but it was a gorgeous backdrop, you know, on the porch there. That was just Mount Shasta is an amazing place, you know.
I've been the assistant camp host there since 2017. I house sit the whole acreage. Yeah, and it's really cool since I went there, and there's some really great stores there too.
Yeah, that's a neat place for sure. That's the whole town. I love it. I love the whole area there.
Well, I'm thinking we're going to do a book signing maybe at Soul Connection. Why don't we make a plan, you know, once, you know, down, it can even be, you know, later this year, but they book up maybe even next year, do book signing and bring everybody together for booking.
That'd be great. I wouldn't mind.
You've got her, you've got Dana, Elaine, you've got me, you've got you've got, you know, we could all go down and you know, just do an author kind of thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah, so it's just, you know, it's just fun to play. How do you close?
There's been all kinds of things, weird things that happened, but I want to say overall, it's like everybody's been pretty happy.
It's been beautiful. When the next day on the 27th, you know what? It hit me, this wave, and I saw it because I'm a big energy system, right? So I felt it. I'm sitting there looking out this gorgeous house window, and all of a sudden I see this wave come in, and all the plants outside the window turned beautiful, brighter color. And then when the wave hit me, it felt like I had gravity boots on, and I was locked into the ground. And it locked me right on. Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw it because I saw the plants change, and it hit me, and I went locked into gravity boots on the ground, you know, like it yanked me into my body. So now, you know, because as a big energy system that I am, I like to stay out of the body. So for this next ride, they need me in the body, grounded with the big energy system. So it nailed me. And I went into, and a week before, I went into an octave change in my energy system with my crystalline structure. So I'm just being blown, you know. And I was going through an octave change, and they made sure I was fasting for 40 days. I got sick February 18th with a head cold. I went out, 40-degree weather, no jacket, got a head cold, down for 3 weeks, solid in bed, you know? But my spirit guides knew, and I knew my spirit guides knew because they were trying to tell me rest. We got this big energy wave, your big carbon body that we're working on, crystallizing, you know, you're going to need to rest. And I couldn't eat anything. I lost 14 pounds, you know, I'm happy, you know, but I stopped drinking. I stopped sugar. I stopped starches. All I was doing is drinking broth and maybe, you know, some grapefruit or something, you know, whatever I could keep, because you just feel like crap. And then around March 22nd, I had to go, you know, do that photograph shoot for the book. Remember I sent you that? Yeah. And I was good enough to go do that. But then it was all about resting before this wave came and almost purifying the body, whether I knew it or not. I was drinking green water, chlorophyll water, and echinacea because, you know, trying to be good, being, you know, coming out of the cold sickness. So I was drinking that for 3 weeks. So it was just universe knocking on me on my ass just to make sure I was ready for this wave.
It's big stuff. I tell you, it's been a rough winter. You know, it's been a brutal winter, and obviously the world is still going through big changes, you know.
Fuck, look at Neptune and Jupiter coming together. Are you kidding? Oh my God, I'm a big water sign. I'm big water. I don't know if you've gone to my YouTube channel, but in one of my quantum hypnosis sessions where, you know, I'm under, and I'm a trans channeler. So I can channel. I do trans, you know, I'm practicing doing that stuff. So I'm not great for my students to work with, you know, but I let them practice on me. You know, I'm a quantum regression hypnotist. So I let my student work on me. And I became water. I was baby water, like infinite creator. And I was just like this 3-year-old girl, and he's interviewing this little baby water creator thing. And then he took me back to before I was water. And oh my God, Tony, my face changes. Thank God we weren't videotaping, because my face changes. You know, when you channel, you know, you have a different kind of consciousness comes in, and I'm used to it, you know, I do it professionally. So it's but I've never met this level of density entity. And it was amazing. It was the creator of water. The student says, what were you before water? And, it's on my YouTube channel. It's spinning. I start spinning into portals, and, oh, there's the light. I don't want to go to the light. And he's like, well, the light's okay. It's safe. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? Because, I know about portals. Some portals are not safe when you're when you're jumping out there in space and going places, some things are, I produce a lot of DMT. I don't have to take ayahuasca. I close my eyes, man. About your meditations too, huh? You kind of go.
I've heard of people that have gone out and to take the ayahuasca and nothing happened.
I don't need ayahuasca. That's because they already vibrate high.
They were already, because they're already like that.
And I can't afford to be throwing up, getting sick, and having some kind of poison that when I already go. Some friends invited me to Costa Rica to do ayahuasca several times. And I'm like, Spirit says I am ayahuasca because of, the shit I channel.
I'm curious to try it, but I'm kind of on the tail end of my life where a hangover lasts me a long time these days. If I was younger, I would be on it, but a hangover is a very long time.
And that's funny. When I got sick on February 18th, I haven't drank since, so that was great. Because,
it's not the same.
You have to numb yourself out, but it's like I'm a butterfly and I came out of the chrysalis. Now I'm in this higher octave, but I'm at the beginning. Like I was at this really great growth and you're coming into your own and your systems and your power. And, I'm chasing 10-foot shapeshifters on the mountain, kicking their, with my spirit star beings, and then now you're starting a new octave and you're a baby again. And we're going into this whole, it felt like a new earth change, a new manifestation.
Hopefully,
it's your timeline. It's your creation. Make it what you want. That's what I say.
Yeah. For all of us though, hopefully the earth is we're seeing some big, real positive things happening, and hopefully we get some big advances here very, very shortly.
What do you think?
You can kind of see things. You can kind of see the tide turning.
I think everyone's talking about those med beds. I kind of find that shrilly because I know we can heal ourselves. And I want to go into the biocomputer, and I'm transhumanism. You don't need med beds. You got this fucking computer in this body,
Well, I think the danger is they're talking about the NESARA and GESARA, like everybody's going to be giving money, like they're going to give everybody a bunch of money, because they stole it from us. That's not going to work either. We
have Epstein's money yet? No.
Very dangerous. It's very dangerous to think like that. And the med bed thing, say, well, we're going to get med beds, so I'm not going to take care of myself. Or, we're going to get med beds any minute now, so everything's going to be fine. Like you're waiting on the cavalry to show up, but it's not going to happen.
Nobody's coming here to save you.
And it's not a good thing to promise stuff like that either. It's going to happen slowly. One day we will have much better medical technology than what we do. And it'll help a lot of people that are in very bad, worse shape than you and I need stuff like that. That's going to happen. But is it going to happen overnight or next month? And when it happens, it would be great, but don't hold your breath, kind of thing.
But Tony,
the world is turning slowly. The ship is turning slowly.
Until it happens, I want to open these harmonic centers, healing centers. Because with, and train the trainers, regression hypnosis. I have people call it when needs surgery. I'm like, don't, it's a bleed through. Let's just go and take a look. They don't need surgery after they found that, because you live millions of lives and you find the frequency and where that is that to fix it. And once you've, looked at it, you know how to do inner child work. You got to look at it, talk to your inner child. Well, it's doing that, but the timelines are so many. You find the right timeline, clear it up, and then all of a sudden they're fine. And the star beings are there in a different dimension. At least in my place, they've actually thrown people on med beds in the dimensions, and they pump light. I had thrombosis in my right calf when I went in Mount Shasta, when I was letting that student work on me. And I didn't know I had thrombosis, but my leg had been throbbing. I'd been in a bad car accident. I'd been flying in 2018 and this was 2019. And I still had the bulging discs.
That's not long ago. That's not long ago.
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, I was still on my walker when they shut down and my physical therapist shut down, I didn't get to finish my physical therapy. That's how recent it's been. And but my God, I swear to God, Tony, it felt like they worked on me. And the creator was saying, she's got thrombosis. She doesn't know this, but we need to fix this now. It's on my YouTube channel. And so I go, wait. And what I saw is them taking off my leg and putting like a new leg on. On the hypnosis table. And my, the Shar-Shars were there, tall whites were there, they monitoring my head. I have gatekeepers. I work with all these beings, and so I already, because I am a star being, kind of, I run that frequency. I can, you know what I mean? It's fascinating.
I think that everybody should.
So I want to, teach people this, because it gets you into theta, and you can do it yourself with your own star beings.
There's a lot of therapy, and there's a lot of things develop over time that this, that can be avoided. And because nobody does
we bury our emotions,
and it turns into something, and then all of a sudden they expect it to be done overnight, and then medical science comes in with a saw, and that, they want an overnight thing for an overnight cure for something that's been happening for the last 15 years or 10 years.
It took you 50 years to get this way. You can't, sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't, but they work on the molecular structure of the water in the body. And so when they demolecularize this, so they really work. It's fascinating what they do on the table, these entities, star beings. It's fascinating. It's just fascinating.
I've heard a lot of people say that they've seen things like that take place, that they were witness to, people getting worked on etherically, like without being unaware with people in the room that they couldn't see.
Yeah, and I can see them, and I'm a dragon slayer. I go after reptilians. I clear out, caves and shit. I'm one of nuclear bomb. I'm like the darker the better. That wave also did something. I'm thinking what I noticed in the ether. I noticed that I believe, how do I say this? Like the contract with, I don't know, how do we call them? Archons. I mean, there's good reptilians, bad reptilians. Let's just say archonic, the archon. If we say no, if say you're in a room with an attorney and it's like, a reptilian, a shape-shifting reptilian dude, you can just say, hey, you can run the whole contract, and they have to walk out. They have to leave. It's like, if they're caught, they have to leave. It's like we have the power, and if we just have to tell them to no, like go up to the governor and say, out, and they have to leave. I think that there was in that wave, there was some contracts that have been made up there on the moon or wherever those councils meet or whatever, but they have been outlawed, and the moon, they're taking the moon offline these last couple of years, right? It's going to take about 5-6 years of taking that moon offline, I'm thinking, aren't they? The Saturn, I mean, we've noticed the Saturn rings and the moon. I don't know. Laura talks about some of that stuff.
Not too familiar with what's ongoing.
It felt weird. That wave, I noticed there's a big difference, but there's still attacks. I know I've been getting psychically attacked quite a bit, but it's like it all stopped. It like today. It's like a different timeline, it feels like.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on. There's been a lot of decisive things happening in the world, and we're seeing good things happen, I guess. I'm very hopeful.
Now, how are your gifts? You've gone through everything. Are you open, like clairaudient and clairvoyant?
Right. So the stuff that I went through, the training I went through, I tried not to.
Oh.
Because I grew up with it, kind of, I was weird, and it takes practice. But there are things I've been using. So I have a group on my Patreon, Talks with Tony, channel.
Aww.
And there's a group in there, and we get together and do like a group meditation a couple of times a month and on goals. And we're using the techniques that I uncovered from the projects I was in. So there's like a resource guide, and then a lot of people in the group are very talented. They've done it before in other groups. I never knew that there are like groups that get together. But
I don't either, because I
kind of started with that. And it was one of those things that my co-host and I talked about all the time. Like, man, we're talking about this document that we found from the CIA library. We need to try this. We should get a group and try this. And we'd always talk about it for like a year. And then finally one day we were like, let's do it. Let's just start a group.
So are you psychically tripping with each other and going up and out, or what are you guys doing?
Like we set targets.
Fun.
And then
I go all over the place.
Do a synchronized immersion. It's more than a meditation. And for the same target, for the same purpose, to help somebody out, to find something, remote view, whatever it is.
I love
and what happens is when you do it synchronized, the Army did this, and I'm using the techniques from Project Gateway.
Oh my God. Do you know what my guides told me? They were saying get 10 to 13 people, and it might be the 13. It's like this, just a group of them, and do that. So that is so cool that you're doing that.
You can feel
how many
the
are you getting in your group normally? What's your count?
I capped it at like 35.
Oh, that's a lot. So 33s get 33.
35. I capped it at 35. 8. So a lot of people come and go though. So some people are there for every meeting and every
Send me an invite.
Well, it's a pay group.
It's Patreon. I don't know. I made my Patreon portals, but I don't know how to load any of my stuff on there.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky. Dude, Tony.
I'm still unwinding it. So I took over. Jackie Kenner ran it for a long time for the first.
I'm so sorry she left. Yeah, but.
Well, no, because she's starting a family, man. She's.
Oh,
busy.
Is she? Okay.
Oh yeah, we still talk all the time, but she just
I don't know who she is. But
she was my co-host, and she got married, and like in the last matter of months, she got married, bought a house, and got pregnant.
She's running her timeline.
And she's expecting, so they're having a family, and it's like there's only so much time you can devote to stuff like this.
We need to pump everyone having children, because they wiped out so many generations of children. Laura, I was texting on Laura's Facebook, man, when she was talking about, they haven't talked about the kids, in Canada under the schools, and the kids that were floating up in the floods from under the England, and people just forget this. And I'm a raging lunatic about that stuff, bringing it back, to the forefront. We, don't forget, but some of this stuff, we gotta wait.
There's a lot that's going on. That's really what the fight is all about. It's about our safety of our children, and that's us too.
Oh yeah. Well, we're the big children. We're holding, we're anchoring the light to hold it for these next generations. Be seeing this through.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally see us as anchors. We're anchoring this light and holding love space. That's what I'm doing, because I've been watching everyone get torn up, all the psychics. That's why I'm a mystic. You don't see me out there, doing reads and everything, even though they're spirits trying to ask me to come out. But I'm watching everyone get attacked, and that's hard. That's you make yourself vulnerable. So this is for me to come out of my mystic cave. And like, I even put my, my info. I'm in an address protection program, so I'm coming out of I had to come out of the closet to my family that I was an empath and psychic. My mom wouldn't even talk to me.
Some of that's easier said than done. And sometimes you think a lot of people that talk about their family about stuff like this, like there's people in my family that don't want to talk to me.
We're the last generation, and that's why I'm doing this and more books, because we're the last generation. We're not going to stand for that anymore, because they kill that. I've lived so many lives, and I have recycled. You'll hear my story at, wherever you find out on my website and all sorts of stuff. It's like you've been killed every which way. I remember the Titanic. On this day as Catherine, I can't get on those big ships, Carnival cruises. I get so sick, but I can be on a yacht. I can be on sailboats, big, but I can't be on one of those big I mean, I was so sick. And then it turned out I had a past life where I was on the Titanic.
Interesting.
And yeah, now I want to go on one of those big ships and see if it got fixed. You know, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I healed it.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
And if you realize what it's causing it, then you can kind of unpack it and deal with it too. So.
How would I ever know that I was on the frickin' Titanic? You know, but you're learning it all. Like spirit's showing, you know, taking me down a road, but they had to bitch slap my ass. You know, reptilian portals are no fun. I mean, I remember I woke up. I think they threw me on my bed, and I woke up and I looked over, and I don't sleep on my stomach, and I'm like splattered on the bed in the master bedroom. I look over and there's these 3 short beings, like with hoods on, and one had like a clipboard, and they're like this high, you know, the bed's this high, you know, just about this high. I don't know how tall that is. And right here. And I go, I know who you are. I'm tired. Get out. And I pass out, you know, like they were dropping me off or something. And then one time, my then husband, when we were in bed, he was sitting there, I was sitting here, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, something's stinging me in the back, like a scorpion. I go, look, honey, look at my back. And I lift my shirt up and he goes, oh my God, there's 2 orbs, you know? And they were harpooning me with an implant. They were ships. They were harpooning me with an implant because I already were onto implants ships. I was already dealing with, you know, fucking living, you know, I was already dealing with stuff and trying to get hand of my own stuff, you know. So when I would get an implant, like jab like that, I would use my laser hands and do infinite love. And it would sizzle the nanobots and sizzle the implant. So I know the game. I knew the game. So, but I've got my weaponry, which is love. You know, I become a nuclear love bomb with the training I've gotten with my guides and you know, it's kind of how I regenerated living. I mean, they would be taking energy chunks out of me. I'd be getting eaten alive on that house.
I would, if I were you, I would look back at anytime something like that happened and write down when it happened and actually I'm working on it's not a book, it's like a notebook I'm working on. It'll be on my Amazon, but it's like a book that you can go and write a timeline with. Because what happens is stuff like that is cyclical. What I found with working with people.
Cyclical? Hell no, yes. I do not want to go back.
Well, hear me out though. It's like if you look at it, if you look back on your life and you look at like the time that you, like you said, there was a reptilian that you could see was in that incident where they're holding you down, and then the other time.
Oh no, that was a disincarnate. He wasn't it was a dead person. That one.
Well, what I'm saying is, no, I mean the instance. So whatever, doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter what happened. It's when it happened, and look back and go back and write down everything that stands out, and just put the year on it, and start looking at if there's a cycle to it. Okay. Because that's what a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people don't think about that. And what I found is that that's actually the case with most people that I work with is contact, no matter what the form it takes, contact with something extraordinary, you know, whether it's etheric or physical, like an ET in the room, you know, that it's
fucking cyclical. Portals opening up and you getting taken or whatever.
Well, the thing is for us, a certain amount of time goes by until the next incident of what happens. But for them, it can only be a few minutes. They can travel time on their end. So they can mess with you when you're 13 and then come back and then mess with you when you're 25 and then come back. So do you understand that it works on a cycle? Yeah. And that's something that I would really say that I would really encourage you to write down when strange things happen. Just make a note of it. It doesn't have to be a long story, but just, you know, like that happened in this year.
Hard. God, you know, because I stay out of time and space. I don't believe in it. So I'm in multiple density and dimensions. It's, you know, it's sometimes hard to go in and remember.
You're here with us.
I know. Oh, I know. And what I did is I found out that I was taking too much zinc and I have no copper in my system. So I have a copper deficiency. So I looked it up and it says, oh, memory loss with copper deficiency. I'm like, no wonder. So I'm increasing.
Interesting.
Because I run a lot, you know, as a channel, you run a lot of energy, especially when you're dealing with, you know, incredibly 13th density entities, 10th density entities. I've got some amazing video of ship landing on Mount Shasta and all the, I mean, there's some crazy shit that happens to me up there and all over the world. And it's going to be so fun to share some of this.
And
like I said, this little book, this is like a teaser.
People
like
that are very sensitive, that also are sensitive to types of food. You have to watch your diet. You know, people that are empathic can't just eat everything either, usually.
I'm not even hungry. They took my appetite away. I think I had apple, walnuts, some basil tea. You know, my whole body and desires changed. So it's been like a whole octave I've got change in my energy system. And now it's just cool. So cool. Really fascinating. And that they knocked me on my ass to make sure I was on a liquid diet. You know, from February all through March. I couldn't get out of bed till from the 18th of February till past the 18th of March into like the 20s of March. So that was interesting. Yeah, they made sure I caught this wave, whatever it was, you know. And I've been good. I mean, I have just been exhausted, no sleep, haven't been able to sleep, you know.
I've been exhausted too. I got to say that, you know, I've been abnormally tired lately, you know, but we're having the seasons change here. Is it snow where you're at?
Oh yeah, not right now, but yeah, sometimes.
You get quite a bit of snow, so
not
we're just
a
starting
lot.
to melt down here in Michigan.
Michigan, you live in Michigan. My family's from Michigan. I mean, my dad and my dad's dad, and we're Scottish, so the Highlanders. We came down into Michigan, of course. We're Highlanders. I'm a Scottish Highland Celtic is one part of my blood. My bloodlines are freaking crazy, Tony. It's like I'm a technology through my bloodlines. I'm B positive. You know, I'm not one of those H'ers, but my Celtic, Scottish Highlander, and my mother, Spanish, South American, Spain. And so my lives are a lot of South American gods, goddesses, a lot of memories there, portals, going there to work portal work. And there's a really, I hired a couple psychics because things were coming in and I had to just confirm them. And it's amazing my marching orders, what I got. You know, there's a group of us like-minded people that we work on energy systems, and it's ancient technology, but you know, we start clearing like land, the ionization and not pollution. It's electromagnetic and portals, and it's just really cool. And they've already laid it out, you know, a lot of the reads I got and what I've been getting, and now they're showing me because it's coming, you know, over the next 10, 20 years. So it's really going to be fascinating to see what happens the next 20 years. And, you know, I don't know, but I listen to my guides. I'm always safe. And they know I move slow. Mama Cat doesn't move fast. So I got a good, you know, couple, you know, I'm seeing a year or two, you know, migrate, but they told me migrate.
Well, it's a big deal to be able to listen to your intuition like that, you know, to actually follow it's very hard to do. Yeah.
Well, I'm signed up with volcanoes. I'm watching the volcano, and then my garage guys, right, that are the observatories, that are the underground ones that are that, you know, are showing you what NASA doesn't. I got some two cool channels. I'll send them to you. Two real cool guys. And so I'm watching the global stuff happening. I'm watching, you know, Hunga Tonga Blue. Holy crap, Tony. Did you hear about by Fiji? Oh my God, Tony. It is like, okay, not hearing that Kennedy was assassinated. That's how big this is. Okay, so I'll send a link to you about Hunga Tonga. This volcano blew, thank God it blew in the ocean, but it wiped out the Fiji Islands. And I loved Fiji. Fiji was beautiful. So ash everywhere, no clean water to drink. This was like last month. There's not even a rating on a volcanic, because a volcano blowing this big has never happened in human history that we have recorded. That's how big this was. Hunga Tonga. You can, if you Google it right there.
Hunga Tonga. Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to go use the restroom. Do you mind waiting, hanging out?
Yeah. Do your thing.
Um, did you get a chance to listen real quick to that one video with my hair that's all wild?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, it's hysterical. When you get a chance, it's not very long. It's like 10 minutes or 13 minutes. Of course, it'd probably be 13. But portals. Oh my God, portals are opening up for me. I'm sitting there at the camp, the 40-acre conference center that we were at. I don't want to mention names on here right now, but I was sitting up at the main house on the deck, and I was meditating from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. And at 1 p.m., the tribe was going to come to get me for the Lakota Sweat Lodge ceremony. So I was just meditating. And from 6 a.m., I'm out there, little medical marijuana gummies, right? Just enjoying, just being zen a little. And with my tree family. And my eyes are wide open. I'm enjoying the trees and the birds and how beautiful it is in the morning that early. I love to be up early morning like that. And right in front of me, this portal opens up. Like it opens up real softly, and there are people on the other side, tall people on the other side. And I just kind of float. Not my body's here. I just kind of float right into the portal and start talking with these. And I heard real softly, Gotha. That was the name, Gotha. Well, and I know in books and stuff, they think Inner Earth is Argotha or someplace, I don't know. So it was real soft, Gotha. And so I was talking with these tall, one guy, long white hair and robes, and it's like they knew me, and we were having a whole conversation. I was in meditation from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I don't know how long I was with them, but it's like they knew me, and we were conversing. And they said, Catherine, you always have the key. You always have the key to this place. It's how you're vibrating in that perfect joy. Look at me, I'm smiling. Well, when I go into my puppy love and just expansive joy, I'm just like I'm source, right? I'm just in it, and I am it, right? It's so beautiful. And so boom, shit portals open up. I'm floating places. It's like, okay, so I'm here to help humanity. If the shit goes down, I can open portals like the Hopi Indian tribe and take them off. How do you think that's why they're taking me towards South America and underground? I'm thinking they're putting me on a path of portal. I had to hire certain psychics to confirm stuff. And what 2 of them or 3 of them said, they said, I would be, me and this group, right, would be traveling we'd travel and crack the seals on the caves that allow Atlantis to rise. And I'm thinking Atlantis is the consciousness of Atlantis. A lot of us are going through, the Lemurian and Atlantic timeline explosions still. But so consciousness has to, come back to a level of, harmony of some sort. So it was fascinating what these psychics told me, and then what I'm seeing happening, and then what's happening with me with portals on Mount Shasta and in certain areas that I'm doing portal work, and we're capturing it on video and on film, photos and shit. So I want to share this, but I don't want to be in the public. I'm behind the scenes. So I gotta, I don't want to be out there. I'm a cave mystic. Yeah, I don't know what to do. But this stuff's badass shit. That should be shared. And I'm a storyteller. I'm more like introverted Native American. Let me just be on land and tell a story. You know what I mean? Instead of getting energy flung at me.
Well, like you said, one book isn't going to do it. So just keep writing.
Do the writing, and I can write from anywhere in the world. And just have that. And I'd like to have a publishing company, because and I want to help people tell their stories. And look, are we making any money from our books? Amazon's making money. I make no money from my book, even if I sell it. Are you making money from books? Are we being publishers used to pay you? Mm-hmm. What's it like?
It's decent.
So is there money in books? I mean, because I got it.
The nice thing about books is that you're not there. So when you have a book on Amazon and they pay you, monthly.
Amazon does?
It's monthly.
Oh,
it's monthly.
Not with this book. They're paying us nothing.
Well, when it's under, there's a certain amount of sales, there's a threshold of sales that they don't pay. But after a while, I mean, it's like it's just got to get promoted. There's an algorithm that does it, and once it gets up there, it's just passive income. The thing is, once you write your book, 10 years from now, people start buying it. It's like it's money it's income that can come in passively. So, it just depends on where it's at. There's people that write books on Amazon that are not even books; they're like calendars, and like
I have an issue with Amazon because they're a mogul and there's only one of them. We don't have any other shopping to do. They're the only one that does it, and I don't want to support them. I'm really kind of like, give me my
goods. They kind of took over the book. The convenience of it kind of took over the book world.
Amazon just bought Audibles. I'm going on into audio books. So no one sees me. I don't have to be in public. I'm going to do just like Audible or radio show or just this interview and interviews, and we're just getting to know each other. We can do a book interview or something for something, but this will be probably the only interviews I come out to do. Even though I'm writing books, this will probably be it because I am what I am. I've got my marching.
I mean, everybody's called to it. Whatever you want to, whatever your book is about, whatever you want to share with people, you're going to have to go with whatever form it takes. Like, I never set out to do interviews I never set out to write the book. Everybody begged me for the book from the beginning. And so believe me, I'm not an author, but I just kind of went that way because I believed in the message. I believed in the information not being buried. And so I just kind of went where it was the path of least resistance. And people would ask, basically when people asked me about what I remembered, what I went through, I would talk about it. And so it's just taken a form of, now there's a show, now there's a book, and now I want to make a few more books because the response has been very positive. So, I mean.
So don't be scared of the journey, Catherine, right?
Yeah, just go where it takes you, man. They're going to ask whatever some doors are going to be open to you and welcoming, and some doors that you want to go through are going to be closed. And you just got to go where you're welcome. Just go where you're welcome. And that's all I've done. It's been 6 years since Shasta in 2016, when I spoke publicly for the first time. And I really didn't know what I was getting into back then.
I kind of was like, and I'm right where you were. I'm where you were, and that's why I want to say.
They were like, just go on the record with it. Just do this interview. I kind of got, I didn't get my arm twisted or anything. I knew, I went along with it, but I didn't understand the impact. But I did feel, like I said, my life's totally different now. I'm totally different. But what I'm saying is, I believed in the mission of sharing the information because so many people are unaware of what's really going on. And I had all this information come to me. I got my memories back about when I was taken, and all this information came, and I felt like I couldn't take it to the grave. And I really still to this day, like I do things to try to earn money, talking about it, because it eats up a lot of my life. But at the end of the day, and I hate even saying that, I hate that saying, but what's true is that I believe in the mission. I believe in spreading the information of what I went through. I really do.
I'm a big mama cat. I'm a big guardian. I am all about protecting humanity. Even when Laura did my reading for me, she says, fuck, you're here to protect the organic timeline. And she just went off into my reading, was like, oh my God, she says it too. It's like epic.
There's so much that they're getting away because it's secret.
I'm going after
we need to move to a more open society of information.
I'm going after the 300 committee. You know those guys.
Yeah. Well, it's part of, a big entity of all the same kind of mentality. that they're better than everybody else.
They're kicked off. They got, I'm seeing that it's zero for them. Like it's zeroed for them. You know, I'm seeing it. It's, you know, playing out. It's already done. Mm-hmm. Now we're in it, playing it out, because we're so slow and slug in here on the sludge, you know, so. But we've already seen it, you know, it's already done.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're going to see, what happens at the top and behind the scenes, you know, we don't, as the public, we don't see it, what the results are for quite some time, but we are starting to see results that are positive for all of us. And, you know, and some things that are bad going on still. So the world is still kind of in a state of liquid, where it's nothing is set in stone just yet. So we're still in a bit of a transition right now, for sure.
Can I ask you a question? You know, the memory part, I keep shut down, right? Because do you appreciate that you went and got your memories back? I mean, a lot of stuff has happened to me in the physical, and I have ships all the time, you know, I mean, big ass ships following me. And I got, you know, I got that implant in me. I mean, there's some stories. And I work with ships in real time. But do I want to remember what happened? Some of the stuff in that haunted house, you know, you don't. And do I want to? And I want to ask you, if you could do it again, would you want your memories back?
So it's a personal thing for, you know, it's a personal thing for everybody. I've talked to a lot of people. I'm
happier if I don't remember.
Well, what I'm saying is I've talked to a lot of people, and not everybody has the same calling for what they went through. And a lot of people have things that they know, and they know deep inside they don't want to remember, that if they did, it would just be, you know what I mean? Do you want it? A lot of traumatic things that happen to people, if we could erase them, they could live happier lives.
See, you can't unsee Waldo. And that's why I keep my clairvoyant shut off, right? Because some of these entities that are creepy. The ones that I deal with, they aren't human, but I don't, you know.
In the beginning, when people would ask me that question years ago, I would always say, you know, it's up to you. But now I'm tempted to say, you know, of course you should remember. You should get all the memories you can, because you're a person, and what happens to you should be 100% up to you and in the front of you. And something terrible happened, then you need to be aware that the world can be a terrible place, and you need to remember that. So this is you know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting people that have their memories deleted and then don't get their memories back, or don't have all the tools or all the experience of their life.
It's actually damaging. It's actually energy.
And in my case, and it's not like this for everybody, but in my case, it was very therapeutic, because I was able to solve. I had a lot of reoccurring bad things that I couldn't understand why, because I didn't put my finger on how I acquired the problem. And once I got my memories back, I went, oh, that's what happened. And I could easily kind of unpack it. So I think it's a good thing. Overall, I think it's a good thing. I think the truth is the truth, whether you like it or not. And so if you
maybe
live through
that's
it,
why they steered me towards the past life regressionist. So my spirit guides, because Dolores Cannon, she started coming to me from beyond, you know, because
her method out in Dolores Cannon. So her philosophy
skills.
is her philosophy behind that is exactly right. That you're going to get your memories back exactly when you need to get them back. And you're going to go get your regression exactly when you need to get a regression, not a minute before or after, because your higher self is going to be in charge of that. And so I would tell, so with that in mind, if somebody asked me that question, should you get your memories back? I would say, don't be afraid of it. Let you just kind of let go. Don't make the decision out of fear. Make the decision out of, what you're actually legitimately feeling, what you're, you know what I'm saying? Like being in touch with yourself. Don't make the decision because I'm afraid that this will happen. I'm afraid of that happen, because that's going to be the wrong decision. So, but I think it's a healthy thing. I think a lot of people can get memories, but I've seen it crush people and I've seen it liberate people. And in my case, it liberated me. So, but I went through a lot of terrible things, and it's not for everybody.
I know I have, and I don't talk about them. I've never even told anybody about my shit. And if it comes out, now I gotta write about it. And and then I have this thought, well, writing about it brings it all back, and you're in it because you're reading it over and over, and it's like I kind of moved on. I'm in the now, and I manifest from the now, and I'm all this glowing and going. But if I have to go here and write about this, I'm going to have to be in that. You know what I mean? That energy.
Well, and that
again.
was why it took so long for me to write the book. And even it's
But
hard on
God
the
forbid
second
if
one,
you
which is not
hadn't.
so bad.
You know,
Well,
that's a
here's the thing.
brilliant-
I'll say this, that after now that we're down the road, we're months after its release, there's a real sense of what's the word? Closure. There's a real sense of closure because the book now it's kind of behind me. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yes.
let the book go, and now it's not in my head anymore. It's not in my interviews for me to talk
And
to.
then my family
it's
knows I'm an
somewhere else.
empath. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's fabulous. It's not in your
Well,
head.
I mean, yeah, and the other thing is like there are people in my family that don't believe anything that I've said in my interviews, and that's their right to. Be weird if there wasn't. But I can't make my decisions based on what people in the family think about me. Do you get what I mean? Like I can't make my decisions because you know what? Nobody in my family's paying my bills or coming by and doing, you know, they're doing their own thing, and that I can't. I don't. They shouldn't make their decisions based on what I think either, because people are living their own life. So people in my family that don't agree with it, they have plenty of space and they're welcome in my life. They're welcome to not be in my life. But I'm not going to make my decisions based on what people think of me. It's already there. Plus, the ship has sailed. It's too late for that for me. You know, like it's way too late. The parade's gone by. Yeah.
So
did
you get to read the book and what'd you think of it? I mean, how
I
was my
it.
writing? Was it tight or what?
It was good. I read it, and it's a chronicle of like things that about yourself. I think that you've been through a lot of things that need to be talked about, and like I think a lot of the experiences that you said, like in that one chapter I read, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people experience things like that, but they blow them off. And you're somebody that's in tune, that you see it over and over again, and you're talking about it, and people need to be a little bit more open to what's happening to them.
Especially
it happens to everybody.
The guides helped me. The guides, they were really great spirit guides. And when I started listening to them, I mean, I get some amazing guides. The part about, when I heard people in the room, in the master bedroom, and they told me I was Morgan Le Fay, they were teasing me because my last name was Morgan at the time. That, I don't know, you don't remember. Okay, one of the little stories, in the haunted house. Okay, so I'm talking about the haunted house. Here we go. Oh, I list the skill sets because in the beginning of the book has a lot of stuff. So it talks about empathic skill sets. So I list some skill sets so people can understand and relate to them when it happens to them. So I said, one time in the master bedroom, I heard chatter, like a group of people talking about me. You know how you hear chatter or something. I heard the spirits laugh and say, "She's Morgan Le Fay." And I yelled out, "Stop laughing at me." Then I listened to the inner voice telling me to research that name. Imagine my shock when the Google search of Morgan Le Fay led me to this past life or simultaneous life avatar of mine. And in quantum theory, linear time is an illusion. And theoretically, all timelines are happening simultaneously. That's in parentheses. I began laughing with the disincarnates, for they were not scary at all, but helping me learn. Karmically or subconsciously, I had married a man whose name led me to my simultaneous source RS avatar abilities. Just as important, I realized that getting triggered, stop yelling at me, plus research equaled clearing the emotions in the now. I became interested in uncovering other simultaneous avatars, which led me to my regression quantum hypnosis journey. Henceforth, I'm seeing the immediate release and canceling out of dis-eases and traumas. In one session, my very first session, I had fibromyalgia for, decades. I got disabled out of my great government job in IT with that as a disability. In one session, it was gone. And my shoulder was frozen for 27 years. I was captain of the USC fencing team. I loved weapons, but my shoulder was trashed and it was frozen. Couldn't move it, One same session fixed. And what it was is that the higher self or whatever said, during sleep, she travels many dimensions. She travels. This is her bridge. And because of her Christian belief system, she doesn't, there was I broke the bridge because, it was a program belief system. You shouldn't be doing that. Or, it's, I don't know what that was, or I was locked out. Who knows? Anyways, fixed because I dealt with that. They fixed the bridge. And now I travel all over in my sleep state. I wake up exhausted. Oh, they
funny
showed
enough.
Me. Huh?
I said, that's funny. I get what you're saying by that. It's strange that when you do wake up exhausted or it's like, it's almost like it's almost like when you're sleeping, you're traveling, you're interacting with other people. And when you wake up, they want you back. They don't, come on, get back here. And so you're
I'm afraid to sleep.
Can't wake up. Yeah. That's what it feels like, at least.
I haven't slept in years. I really need just to curl up and just feel safe and sleep. I don't think I feel safe to sleep. I just want to feel, I just got to sleep someday. There was one thing. Oh my God. I was waking up out of a dream and I don't know. I'm a big, tall blue being. I'm this beautiful blue being. And I was in theta because I was the blue being and I'm in a ship and I'm actually, and I wear I have this white robe on and a crystal, and it's a crystal. I know I have a crystal here. Anyways, I'm actually in the ship and all these other little tinier blue beings are running around and the ship is darkened. And I actually am the generator of love and consciousness, a symbiotic relationship with this ship. And as Catherine, I'm waking up and this blue being's like, oh shit, she's waking up. And she has to literally step out of say a circle and she's super tall. And she runs the ship, but the ship runs itself. It's a living ship. It's a biological ship. I mean, we're connected. And my love, I run it with love. So she had to step out and link herself. And then boom, I'm waking up and seeing her. And we were meeting in the middle, man. It was so cool. I go, I know I'm that being. And something about.
That was on a train. And I just walked in and it was a taller ET, a dark blue being, a female. And she was beautifully dressed and reading something. And I walked in and we had been told, it was like on the news that they were visiting, they were advanced beings and not to, that we may see them around. And it was like seeing a unicorn. It really was. It was just like seeing, she was a very magical person. And looked up at me and smiled. And I knew that she had the ability to help me in my situation. I was not happy and with slavery. But I just stood there. I was kind of dumbfounded and just smiled. And so then I was called away. I couldn't stay there. They called me to the back of the train. And but it was an amazing thing to see. And to see an extraterrestrial anyway is a profound experience. But this was a very advanced person. Anyhow, so I'm gonna get going. I gotta run.
Thank you. Yeah. And, what do you think I should do with this book? I mean, I've do you want to
people know? Do some interviews. I'll get the word out. You know what I mean? I'll mention it. And
I'll send you a partner link, and you can do it on the 28th.
I would go out and just ask people and go on interviews as much as you can. And
do you have a show? I was looking for your show.
Talks with Tony. It's on Patreon. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch. I'll get you.
We can do like a 20-minute interview. Like, hey, Kat, what's this?
Yeah, if you want to come on and talk about it, yeah, that'd be fine.
That'd be a nice flow.
Yeah, just to let people know about it. Just a quick, a short,
It is an honor and a pleasure to be a soul brother and sister with all of us. Even though we don't ever, get to see. I mean, Laura and I met at the Avatar convention, and she just was so beautiful. She just kept staring at me because she could see me glowing. And then we had to hug, and then we did readings and stuff. She was just beautiful. I have never been to a conference. That was my first and last conference. And oh my God, we blew some major portals open. It was beautiful and sunny. And then a bunch of us got together and it was pouring snow, blew every way. Good times on that mountain. Is crazy mountain.
It's a magical place. Mount Shasta. I'm hoping to get out west again soon this year.
I'm opening the portals. Come walk in portals. Come walk to Gotha with me. I just opened the portal. We right in. It's not an issue. It's fun. All right. Love you.
Okay.
Stay precious.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.